Good evening. Thank you so much for keeping it with us. Welcome to News Tonight, the second edition. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma, and we'll go straight to what we have for you this time round. And we'll start with Toro Kingdom. The Kingdom of Toro has come out to inform the Batoro and the general public that His Majesty King Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru IV is currently in a critical condition. At this difficult and deeply concerning time, the Kingdom humbly asks the people of Toro, our friends and well-wishers in Uganda and across the world, to keep His Majesty in their thoughts and prayers. They say we equally appeal to everyone to refrain from speculation, rumors, or sharing unverified information regarding His Majesty's condition. We understand the concern and anxiety that news of this nature will naturally cause, but we ask for calm, restraint, and respect for His Majesty and the royal family. The official channels of Toro Kingdom will provide updates as and when appropriate. For now, the Kingdom asks that we stand together in prayer for His Majesty. Now, in more news, a key prosecution witness in the treason and misprision case against retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haj Obed Lutale, and Captain Ola Oya Denish has told court that Dr. Besigye allegedly assured him that there was an easy way to assassinate the president. American investigator Andrew Wilson Orlando told the High Court Criminal Division that Dr. Besigye allegedly said that the president was easy to assassinate because he routinely used the same route between State House Entebbe and Kampala. Wilson was explaining the contents of a video played before court, which he identified as a meeting involving him, Dr. Besigye, and Joel Wakaima in Geneva, Switzerland in 2024.
The High Court Criminal Division in Kampala, presided over by Judge Emmanuel Baguma, is hearing that treason and misprision of treason case against retired Dr. Colonel Kizza Besigye, Haj Obed Lutale, and Captain Ola Oya Denish. The key prosecution witness, American investigator Andrew Wilson Orlando, remained on the witness stand as prosecution presented another video which Wilson identified as a meeting he allegedly held with Dr. Kizza Besigye and Joel Wakaima in Geneva, Switzerland. The 2-hour video allegedly showed Dr. Kizza Besigye, Joel Wakaima, and Wilson Orlando seated in a sitting room. As the video played, some words could not be clearly heard. Wilson explained to court that the meeting mainly focused on ways of transporting logistics to Kisumu, Kenya, and subsequently into Uganda.
Then we moved on to discussing the airstrip at Mahagi. And you hear Dr. Besigye say that he was in talks with the chief of that area, and it seems the airport in Mahagi could have been used for the transport of personnel without papers.
Before?
The transport of personnel, people without papers, and as previously discussed, for bringing in logistics.
Wilson told court that another major issue discussed was the cost of training more than 50 people from Uganda and others from Kenya in terrorism and surveillance tactics in Kisumu. He told court that training was estimated to cost $500,000 US.
Yes.
That's where we're talking about passports being stamped.
What was the plan about your passports?
There wasn't really a plan at that stage, my lord. You heard me say about going into Congo, but I'd be the only white guy, so we'd stand out a little bit. You just said two things which are of importance, my lord. Firstly, in Mahagi, there are two airstrips. There is the official airstrip and an unofficial airstrip, which is under control of the local chief. And they can be both viewed on Google Earth.
Wilson alleged that the money was given to Dr. Kizza Besigye, and this was seen in a captured video played before court. In the meeting, they also discussed how logistics, including fake money, drones and grenades, would be transported to Kisumu, Kenya, and later to Mahaj Airport in Democratic Republic of Congo.
Dr. Besigye also just said they had used, and I take it he means the unofficial airstrip,
Yes.
to bring in guns before. He said he brought in guns before, so I take it they used that airstrip previously to bring in armaments.
Wilson told court that they had planned to move the logistic on a lighter aircraft through Mombasa, then Mogadishu, finally to Kisumu. Wilson further told court that because one of their alleged targets was assassination of the president, they planned to have 2 white tourists in Entebbe to monitor State House and the president's movement. In the video, Dr. Kizza Besigye was also... Wilson alleged that the money was given to Dr. Kizza Besigye, and this was seen in a captured video played before court. In the meeting, they also discussed how logistics, including fake money, drones and grenades, would be transported to Kisumu, Kenya, and later to Mahaj Airport in Democratic Republic of Congo. Wilson told court that they had planned to move the logistic on a lighter aircraft through Mombasa, then Mogadishu, finally to Kisumu. Wilson further told court that because one of their alleged targets was assassination of the president, they planned to have 2 white tourists in Entebbe to monitor State House and the president's movement. In the video, Dr. Kizza Besigye was also allegedly heard explaining the president's movements between Kampala and State House Entebbe. Wilson told court that Besigye indicated that because President followed the Lutun route, it was very easy to assassinate him. The meeting also allegedly discussed on how Joel Wakaima could acquire a service passport from Zambia since his refugee passport could not allow him to move freely to accomplish their alleged plans. Prosecution also played audio recordings said to be from the same meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. After the evidence-in-chief, Judge Emmanuel Baguma adjourned the case to 31st August 2026 for further hearing of the matter. Haji Obedi Lutale and Captain Ola Oyadenish were further remanded to Ruzira Government Prison. It should be noted that the key suspect, retired Count Dr. Kizza Besigye, declined to appear in court, and is not represented by his lawyers. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansuga, UBC News.
Now, Uganda was declared Ebola-free officially by the World Health Organization on Thursday after 42 days without a new case. The country has been praised for its efforts in preventing the spread of the outbreak that has overwhelmed health facilities in parts of the east of the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, commonly known as the DRC. Uganda has reached 42 days since the last confirmed imported Ebola case was discharged on the 16th of July 2026 with no documented onward transmission associated with the case, marking an end to the outbreak, and that is the World Health Organization posting on their X account. UBC News Tonight. Now, in more news, leaders in Karamoja sub-region have commended the non-individual register that it will improve accurate information, transparency, and accountability. This was said during the popularization of the non-individual register in Karamoja sub-region.
Providing guidance, building capacity, and ensuring that the system is accessible, efficient, and responsive.
Uganda Registration Service Bureau has held a popularization of the non-individual register in Karamoja sub-region.
Going to act as both the registration number, the TIN number, the license number, and any other permit number or any other number that is intended to be issued to the entities.
Register brings them under one umbrella where they're going to be assigned what we call the entity registration number for easy identification, for easy planning, so that when you are planning any formalization agenda in the area, they will be easily identifiable easily brought under one agenda, such that government policies can easily take on from there, where they easily pick data, issues of planning and what have you can all be brought easily to the non-individual register umbrella.
The meeting, held in Moroto District, was attended by district officials, business community, and religious leaders across Karamoja.
It's going to lessen the fatigue. However, we need more sensitization.
Just that these couples also get proper registration. And
Marian Tugumisiriza, the Senior Registration Officer at URSB, explains why one should register his or her business.
Intended to ensure that we all harmonize the information that we have, the data correction processes, the data that we have, so that if a third party is to rely on that information, it should be authentic information. This reform was also intended to cater for some of the non-individuals that didn't have a legal framework that provides for their registration.
Moroto Resident District Commissioner Ben Kwichiriza said this is going to address inaccurate data challenges.
Poor data gives us wrong results, but good data helps us in planning, especially where our budgets can focus. So, and also aids us as a government on terms of collecting revenue and how to manage and follow up our
collective benefit for all of us, for the business community and for government.
Government of Uganda amended Section 4 of the Tax Procedures Code Act 2024 to provide for the establishment of a centralized non-individual register to be maintained and managed by the Uganda Registration Services Bureau.
The mandate is basically to allow people.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development has suspended the routine issuance of special certificates of title for 3 months, citing growing concerns over alleged fraud, double titling and manipulation of land registration processes. The ministry says that the suspension is not only aimed at protecting the integrity of Uganda's land register, but also allow it to review the system and investigate reported abuse.
Under the Registration of Titles Act, a special certificate may be issued where an original certificate of titles has been lost, destroyed or rendered unusable. But the ministry says increasing complaints from landowners, financial institutions, administrators of estates and other stakeholders have raised questions about how some of these certificates are obtained and issued.
From today, no government officer, security agency, surveyor, or private actor should intervene in a disputed land matter outside a lawful, coordinated and documented process.
The complaints reportedly include alleged double titling, overlapping interests, fraudulent statutory declarations and irregular dealings involving land belonging to deceased persons. Government is also concerned about cases where a special certificate is allegedly used to transfer land despite the original certificate still being in existence.
So many people have opened up offices claiming to be helping Ugandans. And at the end of the day, we get Ugandans to our office that they have been cheated. They have been cheated, and some of the people who are trying to do this work, they are not known anywhere in our structures as government. And that's why we said no, we must be coordinated.
The ministry says the 3-month suspension is not intended to abolish the legal process or deny genuine proprietors access replacement titles. Instead, it will use the period to identify loopholes, strengthen verification and due diligence procedures and establish additional safeguards.
Land disputes will no longer be managed through force, intimidation, or parallel orders, or corruption. Every intervention must be lawful, coordinated, documented, and accountable. No Ugandan should use or lose his or her land because another person was able to manipulate the process.
The review will bring together government agencies and professional bodies, including investigative agencies, the Uganda Law Society, Uganda Bankers Association, Private Sector Foundation Uganda, and the Surveyors Registration Board.
Everyone is moving in a different direction and they are making decisions which are not informed by law, and we cannot allow that to continue when we haven't guided the country. That's why we are coming up to say no. Enough is enough. Those of you who opened offices wherever they are, please stop.
The Permanent Secretary and technical team has been directed to constitute a team with clear terms of reference, a 3-month timeline, defined deliverables, and to notify courts of the development as the review takes place. Charity Marion Imnat and Regan Ahumza reporting for ABC.
The Minister for Local Government has launched Sebei Anti-Corruption Drive starting this Thursday afternoon from Bukwa District, in a trip targeting to expose and uproot the corrupt government officials and projects. We'll see Minister Balaam interrogate district engineers, health officials, community development officers, school inspectors, among others.
Before setting off from Mbale City for Sebei Sub-Region Anti-Corruption visit, the local government minister first had a familiarization visit to Sino, Uganda Mbale Industrial Park. The early morning guided tour covered the sections of steel and manufacturing. Here it was brought to the attention of the minister that the cotton and wool sections are employing the biggest parts of the youth from this region.
At the moment they are serving 17,000 young people who have jobs in our local government of Mbale. Mbale City, Mbale District, so Bamasab and the neighboring district like Butaleja, Busia, they are all here. The most important thing, they may not be earning a lot of money, but they are earning the best skills that can make them survive when they decide to leave at one given time. So I'm appealing to the locals, to the young people, to embrace Mbale Sino Industrial Park.
From here, Balaam then embarked on the journey to Sebei Sub-Region. The Bukwa inspection began from Chesowe Health Center Free, where locals had alleged negligence by health workers, but on spot check turned the story around, with many testimonies proving the efficiency of services offered at this center.
Drugs here last 2 days. Who takes the drugs?
Supply the drugs to the clans. One the problem we have here.
On his way to Bukwa town, Balaam was stopped again by residents of Brim Trading Center who lodged a complaint about an area roadblock. Without hesitation, he walked by the cheering crowds to the said checkpoints. Here, Balaam directed the local police commanders to remove the contested checkpoints.
That must be done today, and you bring him at the rally. Yes.
Along the routes to Bukwa, Mr. Balaam was stopped by market vendors who also sought for answers about their markets.
In the meantime, since you have a toilet here and you don't have a toilet there, shift and return here for 1 month as we finalize the toilet the other side.
And this was the entry point to Bukwa Town Council.
So the thieves eating money for the road will vomit it. That's the reason why I'm here in Bukwa today.
Here, residents then led Balaam to the town council bridge, which is alleged to have become a daily death trap for communities.
Now the engineer is on the run, but we shall get him. It's okay, sir. There is no problem, we shall get him, he can't run forever.
From here, Balaam was led to Bukwa General Hospital.
So for you, RDC, what did you commission? Okay, tell me.
That's the problem with RDC here. As long as he gets something small, he goes ahead to commission things which are not.
When there is something small,
yes.
At Fernandez City Secondary School, estimated to be constructed at a tune of shillings 2.5 billion, Balaam was joined by the Patriotic League of Uganda General Secretary Twala Fadil and celebrated athlete Moses Kipsiro.
Because it is written Ministry of Education and Sports. Now, if you only build the school or the classes, how about the sports facility now? So I've been championing that when they are building any school, they must also put a field.
You see, corruption is what has hindered a lot of development in our country. And now we are saying
No more corruption again.
On his way to Kapuru's Health Center Free, a group of youth blocked Balam at the main gate seeking his attention for their concerns.
Roti, Karugu, Swam, 77 million.
The day's feed tour concluded from Swam 1 border stop points in Swam Town Council. This is linking Uganda to Kenya. At Amananga Playground, thousands stand up for the Anti-Corruption Public Baraza. Balam will be in Kwen District on Friday 28th August 2026. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
The Archbishop of Mbarara Archdiocese, Most Reverend Lambert Bainomjisha, has called on parents to take homes safe and supportive for children to prevent acts of drug abuse and other harmful behaviors.
For 25 years, Kabula Muliro Serenity Center has been offering rehabilitation and support to people struggling with alcohol and substance abuse. The center was established in 2001 to rehabilitate victims of drug addiction after Catholic missionary groups identified a growing challenge of alcohol and substance abuse in Uganda. 25 years later, the center has become a pioneer in addiction treatment and rehabilitation.
We celebrate 25 years of existence, and most importantly, we celebrate the lives saved from the debilitating effects of drugs and alcohol.
During the Silver Jubilee celebration, the Archbishop of Mbarara Archdiocese, Most Reverend Lambert Bainomjisha, challenged families to play a greater role in preventing addiction. Archbishop Bainomjisha noted with concern the growing gap of parenting and lack of guided support for children that has caused vulnerability to children.
A wife sees her husband becoming distant and unreliable. Children suffer because a parent is trapped in alcohol or drugs. A young person with dreams and talents begins to lose hope.
The Archbishop commended Kabula Muliro Serenity Center for their dedicated service over the 25 years of rehabilitating victims of drug addiction.
When someone struggles with alcohol, drugs, gambling, or another addiction, people are quick to label them, that one is useless. There is work to be done. There is responsibility for one's life. That is the balance needed in the journey of recovery.
President Yoweri Museveni, represented by the Minister of State for Health in charge of general duties, Anifa Kawoya, applauded the center for standing the test of time in service. He urged parents to engage their children in productive government programs such as PDM and Emyoga to keep them economically active and reduce idleness.
But there is also need to focus on mental wellness. It is a healthy mind in a healthy body that counts. The NRM leadership, we therefore continue to support the private sector involvement in health, care and wellness endeavors as long as the resource envelope is able.
As Kabula Muliro Serenity Center celebrates 25 years, a call has been made to everyone to replace stigma with support and give people struggling with addiction a chance to rebuild their lives. Susan Naonga, reporting for UBC TV.
Actually, Paramount Chief Road David Onen Chana II has hosted the newly retired Army General Charles Awani Otema for cultural blessings ahead of his grand homecoming ceremony that will take place tomorrow. Otema was taken through Gulu City amid huge crowds.
On Thursday, the newly retired General Charles Awani Otema arrived in Gulu City at about midday. He was welcomed by large crowds starting from Kampala Road and moving through the city as business came to a standstill. He made several stopovers to appreciate the Acholi people for the love and warm welcome. From the city center, the procession proceeded to the palace of the Acholi Paramount Chief, where an Acholi cultural ritual symbolizing a welcome home after a long absence was performed before he entered the palace. General Otema stepped on a fresh egg as part of the ritual. The grand homecoming ceremony expected to bring together the people of Acholi and beyond is slated for Friday. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Gulu.
The Acting Minister for Education and Sports, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, has called upon the 2026-27 academic year scholarship awardees to return home with ideas, skills, innovations, networks, and a commitment to national service after completing their studies abroad. Muyingo made the call while officiating at the pre-departure briefing and flag-off ceremony for the 71 scholarship awardees at the National Archives Center in Wandegea.
A total of 71 scholarship awardees from various parts of the country have been officially flagged off by the Acting Minister of Education and Sports, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, at the ceremony attended by ministry officials, parents and other stakeholders at the National Archives Center in Wandegea, Kampala. The 2026-27 academic year scholarship awardees are heading to different institutions abroad to pursue various disciplines, with about 99% enrolled in science-related programs in countries including China, Cuba, India and the United Kingdom, Pakistan and others. The Acting Minister for Education and Sports, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, says the scholarship programs are important steps towards strengthening Uganda's human capital in critical areas of science, technology and innovation.
This is why government is increasingly emphasizing science, technology, engineering, mathematics, technical and vocational skills, research, and you heard from the Member of Parliament emphasizing research and innovation, digital competences, entrepreneurship, stronger links between education, industry, and labor market.
Minister Muyingo thanked the scholarship-giving countries for their continued partnership with Uganda and called upon the awardees to return with ideas, skills, innovations, networks, and a strong commitment to national service.
As you pursue your education, remember that you are not only representing yourselves, but you are representing Uganda. I urge you to make the most of the opportunities before you, to learn from your host countries and their solutions, to build lasting relations, and to return home prepared to apply your knowledge and skills in the service of our country, Uganda.
The Commissioner for Higher Education in the Ministry of Education and Sports, Haj Muzamili Mukwatampola, says the 2026-27 scholarship awardees will pursue undergraduate degrees, master's degrees and PhDs. He encouraged the awardees to be good ambassadors for Uganda, remain disciplined, attend lectures, complete their assignments on time and maintain regular communication with the ministry and other relevant scholarship authorities.
Develop good relationships with your lecturers and fellow students and seek assistance whenever you face academic difficulties.
The awardees have commended the government through the Ministry of Education and Sports for the opportunity provided through the scholarship. Winnie Nalusiba reporting for UBC TV.
Government of Uganda, through the Generating Growth Opportunities and Productivity for Women Enterprises GROW project, is strengthening the capacity of financial institutions to better serve women-owned businesses. The GROW project is a World Bank-funded government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, together with the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, with a key focus on helping women-owned enterprises transition from micro to small and medium-sized businesses.
The Alliance's Uganda Women Markets playbook specifically focuses on data, market segmentation, and sustainable strategies for serving women-led businesses. Dr. Ruth Aisha Kasolo, the group project coordinator at PSFU, says the initiative is intended to address some of the barriers that continue to prevent women entrepreneurs from accessing appropriate and affordable financial services.
But the future for Grow Loan is that government will set up an Apex company where these funds are going to be, and women should be able to access them for a long time. Why are we doing this? Because Uganda as a country, we have signed on the Wi-Fi code.
Her role in the Grow project places her at a center of efforts to strengthen women's entrepreneurship and access to finance.
At least we are sure that in most of the banks now you go to, you should be able to access the Grow Loan, especially upcountry. Our biggest challenge right now is the access, the demand upcountry. It's a bit lower than Kampala. For now, we've also advised the financial institutions to have some resources for the clients in Kampala.
The vice chairperson of the board of directors, PSFU, Sarah Kajimo, emphasized the importance of stronger partnerships between private sector, government and financial institutions in creating an environment where women-owned businesses can grow and continue and contribute more significantly to Uganda's economy.
We've started this women's market playbook training, which is again to ensure that the commitment we made as private sector foundation and finance institutions is now translated to practical approaches within the institutions in a way of ensuring financial inclusion for women-led businesses.
Meanwhile, Ines Murray, the CEO of the Financial Alliance for Women, brings international expertise to the engagement.
So the idea of us is to come here and help give insight from other countries actually how the banks on a commercially viable basis are able to support women entrepreneurs. So all of these 20 institutions are going to come away with a strategic plan that they have created through the exercises that we're doing here over these 3 days to either scale up their existing program or design a new program.
Patricia Amito, the head of communication and corporate affairs at Uganda Bank Association, highlight the banking industry's role in translating the training and recommendations into better financial services for women entrepreneurs.
What the initiative and the training is doing today is bringing us together to be more coordinated, but also presenting tools that can be then used by the financial institutions to be able to design strategies that are stronger, that are data-driven, and drive the commercial or present the commercial viability for support towards the women entrepreneurs.
Tanaba Kenneth, compiled the story for UBC.
241 graduates of Chad Dondo Technical Institute have been urged to continuously upgrade their skills and embrace lifelong learning as technology rapidly transforms the workplace during the institution's graduation ceremony at the institute's premises in Kampala.
Comprised 241 students who received certificates and diplomas across various technical and vocational disciplines. Graduates were warned that their current skills alone will not sustain them in a rapidly evolving job market driven by technology. Kalans urged the fresh graduates to transform their technical skills into business opportunities, solve community problems, and seek practical experience well beyond the classroom.
Tell your parent, how do I start small? Okay? How do I start small? Those that are doing motor vehicle mechanics, I've told you how I started, like a small garage. You need to visit it. State of the art. The equipment that I have. Now, that's the second one. You don't have to wait to be employed. The skills that you have acquired are sufficient to enable you to establish your own enterprises. You need to create jobs and contribute, of course, to the growth of this economy.
Director Serwanja Assad called for stronger partnerships between technical institutions and industry, arguing that internships, workplace training and employment pipelines are now indispensable to producing job-ready graduates.
Your success will depend not only on what you know or what you do, but also on who you relate with. Your principal belongs to the One Love Club of the Rotary Club of Busabala, and that's my network, plus many others. So I inspire you to find where you belong so that we can find your relevance in there. 3, innovate and create opportunities. We have some skills acquired, may not be at the peak part of it, but whatever you have can start a life.
Professor Badru Katerega, Chancellor, stressed that technical and vocational education remains the backbone of Uganda's economic transformation, producing skilled workers in mechanics, construction, electrical work, ICT and other critical trades.
So we need to change attitude, and that is the competence-based education is also about changing attitudes towards work, I therefore encourage you to strengthen the pathway so that KTI graduates can continue advancing academically like they seem to be doing.
The graduation ceremony was held at Chadondo Technical Institute's own premises, marking yet another annual milestone in the institution's growing academic calendar.
I encourage you to employ the various government and development partner support programs available to the young men. PDM.
Technical and vocational education is also increasingly being recognized as critical to solving Uganda's youth unemployment crisis, providing practical pathways to self-employment and entrepreneurship rather than dependency on a shrinking formal job market. For UBC News, I am Sudat Kaye.
Residents of the fishing communities in Buikwe district say that alternative livelihood support is helping them cope with restrictions on illegal fishing, with many now turning to livestock rearing and other income generating ventures. We'll have that story later, but moving on, government through the Ministry of Health says that it remains committed to reducing preventable deaths among newborns and children while bridging gaps in access to equitable health care. Our reporter has the detail.
The Uganda Pediatric Association UPA was established in 1993 to strengthen research, vaccination and disease prevention, nutrition, child health policy, medical education, emergency care and advocacy for children's health.
First of all, I want to appreciate the Ministry of Health working through partners to be able to actually train newborn specialists in the country. Previously, the newborn specialists were being trained out of the country, like in South Africa. The first 2-3 newborn specialists were actually trained in South Africa, which was quite costly. Now, with partnerships with the Ministry of Health and Seed Global and ELMA, there's funding to be able to train the newborn specialists within the country.
Maternal child has also improved tremendously. But to keep our records the way not to go down again, we must emphasize that we go into preventive. The policy now running is that prevention better than treatment.
Slightly behind, we are talking about survival only, but now we are talking about survival and thriving. The component of thriving really means that babies should not only survive complications of childbirth, but also childhood, illnesses, but they should be able to grow.
However, despite the progress made over the years, Uganda's pediatric profession continues to face persistent challenges.
I realize that we've made progress over the years, but we still have a challenge that children in the rural areas may not have access to quality children, to quality health care, like the children in the urban areas. And those are some of the gaps. We are here to discuss those challenges and innovative ways to bridge those gaps. There are even other specialties, like specialties in newborn, where there are even fewer. We graduated only 5 last year. So the newborn numbers in the country have risen to about 8 now, which is not enough to cover even just Uganda, given that we have about 1.5 million children born every year.
Speaking during the opening of the 22nd Pediatric Conference, the Minister of State for Health in charge of general duties, Anifa Kaoya Bangirana, emphasized the government's continued efforts to improve access to quality pediatric services, strengthen newborn and child health interventions, and address gaps that continue to affect the delivery of health care to children across Uganda.
It is of the babies 1 day to 28 days. Normally, the focus has been on those children who are below 5 years. But there are those ones who are born that very hour to 28 days. And that is where most of the risks again are. And as a government, our emphasis is saying no baby is supposed to die.
Once we put in this intervention, the number of babies requiring mechanical ventilation means if you don't stabilize these babies very well at the time of labor, they are going to need a machine that you're going to put on them to support their respiration.
I'm Ivan Juko, reporting for UBC.
Residents in Masajja Town Council have called for a visit from Minister Balamba Rugahara and Justin Namere to intervene in a growing dispute over the recent village chairperson elections. Our reporter has it in detail.
Among the complaints are allegations of bulk staffing, irregularities witnessed during the voting process, and cases where results have not yet been declared by the Electoral Commission. In Masajja Town Council, one of the residents who has challenged the election results is Kabirigo Bashiri, who was declared the chairperson of Chibiri, a village.
At
Kabirigo, whom we found at his home, claims that some of the irregularities witnessed during the election were allegedly linked to one of the candidates who contested against him, Namata Lucy. Kabirigo, however, has rejected allegations attributed to his opponent, including claims of intimidation and other forms of misconduct, describing them as statements made out of anger.
Tunuulira ekiseera kino kye tuli mu nsasiga ab'ekyalo kyaffe tulinga abali mu buwambe ekyalo kyeraliikirivu abantu bamanja buwanguzi bwokka.
At the same time, Kabirigo has raised concern over what he describes as acts of intimidation against residents, including allegations that some individuals were hired to assault people in the area. The residents are now appealing to ministers Balamba Rugahara and Justin Namere to intervene and help resolve the dispute, saying tensions remain high in their villages.
Residents of fishing communities in Buikwe district say that alternative livelihood support is helping them cope with restrictions on illegal fishing, with many now turning to livestock rearing and other income-generating ventures.
The fisheries have received training.
We have used the Chinese model, which is more profitable and friendly to protect the environment and fish against predators. This gives a farmer 20% mortality rate of fish loss once the fish is protected. So if you put in 15,000 fingerlings, you will lose at least 3,000 fingerlings.
Residents say the program has reduced their dependency on fishing and helped them establish other income streams.
We have used the Chinese model, which is more profitable and friendly to protect the environment and fish against predators. This gives a farmer 20% mortality rate of fish loss once the fish is protected. So if you put in 15,000 fingerlings, you will lose at least 3,000 fingerlings, or around 3,000 fish. Now, this is because the Chinese boat, they bring and power in and start protecting the fish.
They are now calling for the program to be expanded so more members of fishing communities can benefit.
Abantu bafuabe palisa basobola okulunda ebyenyanja bafunemu appreciating okusinga okubanga era emmere yekizibu naye
tuze kolya abantu 50 president bwe yatutuma tukolere abantu bonna babeere bulungi bafune sente babeere bulungi n'olwekyo era bwe twali bali bajja wano babagabira enkoko president tumwebaza bagaba enkoko bagaba embuzi bagaba ente abantu okuva mu lusaalu luno babagabira ebintu ebyo babifuna kakati wensabira chairman 5 tulina okugoberera abantu abo tulabe ebintu bibafuna bitambula bulungi batuleme kutunuulira project eno yokka kubanga nalyo resources ya government erina okubajja mu bwavu.
Beneficiaries say continued support will be key to helping fishing communities build sustainable livelihoods beyond the lake. For UBC News, I am Sudat Kaye.
We take a short break. On return, we have more. Keep it with us.
Mami! Wanje sabo? Ugamotia. Oina kachi. Ha. Kagulini zitekako. Teka kagulini. I want everything, eh? Okay. Yes. So, when I pay the time, this will increase my loan limit. Hey, Mutieni Momo. Madam, remove the food. Put more meat. Add the meat. Yes. Hey. Now, these are the fruits of paying your loan is in time.
That's right. Every time you repay your Momo loan on time, your loan limit can increase, giving you access to more money when you need it most. Dial *165*5# to borrow, pay back, and grow your limit with Momo loans.
You have juice?
Yes.
Juice in me.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
What if accessing government services became easier, faster, and closer to you? Introducing Service Uganda Centers, a new initiative designed to bring key government services closer to the people under one convenient location. Less movement from office to office, less unnecessary travel, better access to services and information. At the Service Uganda Centers, citizens will be able to access national ID services, passport processing, business registration, land and revenue services, and more, all in one convenient location. Whether you are in the city or upcountry, Service Uganda Centers are being designed with you in mind. Enjoy faster service, professional guidance, and a seamless customer experience. This is an initiative of the Government of Uganda, digitally powered by the National Information Technology Authority Uganda, NITA, under the Uganda Digital Acceleration Project Government Network. Service Uganda Centers, bringing services closer to the people.
Mami!
Wanje sabo?
Ugamotia. Oina kachi. Ha. Kagulini zitekako. Teka kagulini. I want everything, eh?
Okay.
Yes. So, when I pay the time, this will increase my loan limit. Hey, Mutieni Momo. Madam, remove the food. Put more meat. Add the meat. Yes. Hey. Now, these are the fruits of paying your loans in time.
That's right. Every time you repay your Momo loan on time, your loan limit can increase, giving you access to more money when you need it most. Dial star 165 star 5 hash to borrow, pay back, and grow your limit with Momo loans.
You have juice?
Yes.
Juice in me.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. We never have. What we need is the power to do it our way. To move our people, our goods, our ideas across cities that breathe with our energy. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. Every swap keeps the city running. Every ride links one life to another. We're copying no one else's future. It's we who powers the cities we live in. It's we who shapes the world they'll become. This is Africa, powered by us.
This news tonight. Uganda is stepping up efforts to accelerate economic growth and turn its long-term development ambitions into tangible results. Finance Minister Henry Musasizi has opened the 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum, a two-day meeting bringing together government, private sector, development partners, researchers and other key players in the economy.
The 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum comes at a time when Uganda is positioning itself for a major transformation of its economy. Policymakers, economists, academics, business leaders and development partners will be looking beyond economic figures to the practical issues affecting investment, productivity, job creation and competitiveness of Ugandan businesses. Opening the forum, Finance Minister Henry Musasizi emphasized the need for the government and its partners to move from policy discussions to actions that generate measurable economic results.
Government pledges continue improving the business environment, strengthening economic infrastructure, investing in human capital, maintaining macroeconomic stability and providing predictable policies.
The minister's message comes against the backdrop of Uganda's ambitious long-term economic transformation agenda, which requires sustained growth across agriculture, industry, services, technology, and other productive sectors.
Including artificial intelligence, are transforming production, trade, and employment. Global trade and investment patterns are shifting.
For the Permanent Secretary and Secretary for the Treasury, Ramadhan Gobi, the focus must remain on implementation, ensuring that economic policies and public resources translate into productivity, employment and better livelihoods.
Kindly, if you were to take away something from today, take away the fact that Uganda is now looking at how do we get growth with transformation. And by transformation, we mean having Ugandans into productive, modern productive sectors, working outside subsistence agriculture, having investments into the ATMs by the private sector, well de-risked by government, having complex exports which can fetch good money.
The forum is also creating space for the private sector and development partners to contribute to Uganda's growth agenda. Their participation is expected to bring perspectives on investment, access to finance, technology, markets and reforms needed to make it easier for businesses to grow and create jobs.
This is just to highlight that it's a little bit of a dance, and it's important to think about critically and strategize on how to leverage it.
Huge, but it's achievable. And as Yatini, we believe if we get things right and if we address the fundamentals of the economy, then the dream can be achieved.
Researchers and academics are equally expected to provide evidence that can help policymakers understand what is working, where the gaps remain, and where government intervention can have the greatest impact. The success of the forum will therefore not only be measured by the quality of the discussions, but by what follows after the meeting. For Uganda, the priority is clear: building an economy that grows faster, creates more opportunities, and delivers better livelihoods for its people. Benon Mukwaya, Ivan Juko, UBC News.
Uganda
The Ministry of Investment has committed to strengthen collaboration with Sino Industrial Park, Uganda, in Bali, and address key challenges affecting industrial growth and investor operations.
During her maiden visit to the industrial park, the State Minister for Investment, Amina Mukalazi, was informed about the continued pollution of water streams flowing through the park from neighboring communities. The management is calling for intervention by the Ministry of Water and Environment to protect the health of workers and support a cleaner industrial environment.
There is many people making alcohol.
Village.
Some village.
So, Your Honorable, you see, these are some pictures we've been taking.
Okay.
And the pollution water is go directly from their side of water, because they're on the upper level, coming to our park. They're passing by. So we're requesting your help.
The minister was accompanied by Mbale City Woman Member of Parliament and State Minister for Public Service, Lydia Wanyoto Mutende, disclosed plans by the government to establish affordable housing for workers, with Sino Industrial Park among the areas being considered in a move aimed at reducing transport costs.
We want to have a planned housing estate for the industrial park of Mbale, because you cannot speak of 15,000 employees working in shifts, and he has mentioned the issue of you also have to secure them, because as they work, people know about their paydays, they can be harmed.
Minister Mukalazi commended workers for their contribution to industrial development and urged them to remain focused and committed to improving their livelihoods. Workers also welcomed government efforts to create a favorable investment environment, saying employment at the park has transformed their lives.
I want to let you know that you're the backbone of these factories, because without you, these investors cannot survive. So thank you.
We have team leaders, whereby the Chinese boss is going to teach the team leader, and the team leader is going to teach the operator how to do it, the process.
The minister pledged government intervention in addressing water pollution, road accidents along the highway, and other challenges affecting the growth of the industrial park.
About the pollution from the neighbors in the area. That is the matter that we can handle. First of all, we should have to interact with them. I'm happy she's here. She will be able to handle that issue. To see, first of all, how we can support them to organize themselves, and that waste does not come to affect other people and the park as well.
City leaders say resolving these challenges will further strengthen investment, employment and development in Mbale City and the wider eastern region.
We now go talk international. In CGTN's continuing coverage of the fight against Ebola, from inside Mongwalu town in the Democratic Republic of Congo, they look at how local communities' perception of the virus have changed 3 months into the outbreak.
Along the main roads into Mongwalu, health checkpoints are now active. Every traveler entering the town must wash their hands and undergo health screenings before proceeding. More local residents now accept the reality of the outbreak and are adopting safety measures.
At first, quite a few people were dying and we didn't know why. In the end, we found out that it was due to the Ebola virus. I protect myself by washing my hands with soap and clean water, because that's the best way to do it. I avoid crowded places, and I no longer attend just any funeral because I have to protect myself.
Inside homes, some personal habits are also changing. Where water is available, hand washing stations are now seen at front entrances for family members and guests alike.
We wash our hands regularly, especially after using the restroom and before eating. We also avoid touching the deceased so as not to become infected.
Progress is visible at Mongboalu's main market, where sanitation supplies are being distributed even as water continues to be scarce. And local leaders are now pushing for adherence to public safety guidelines.
The measures put in place by authorities must be followed. Today we are seeing improvement and progress as the public has gained a better understanding of the situation. This change is particularly noticeable in the outlying areas, notably in Andisa and Gwedi, although this does not apply to the rural commune of Mongboalu.
Municipal authorities in Mongboalu stress that strict compliance with national health directives is the only way to stop the virus.
The directives issued by the central government are being enforced locally. Every community member and neighborhood leader must respect these rules if you are to break the chain of transmission.
With construction underway on expanded treatment facilities and field teams conducting daily contact tracing, Mongboalu's residents are fighting back against the disease that has touched every facet of their life. Because Ebola is not just a story of cases and deaths, it is a story of loss and resilience, of small wins and quiet heroes, and of ordinary people finding ways to carry on in the shadow of a deadly virus. This is life in the time of Ebola. Wilkis Anyabwa, CGTN.
Uganda, are you ready to take your business to the world? This September, the Gateway to International Markets opens in Istanbul, Turkey. From the 15th to the 19th of September 2026, join AFEX 2026 Africa Business Forum and Expo, bringing together Africa and global markets in one dynamic business platform. Meet international buyers, investors, manufacturers, distributors, traders, and business leaders alongside the Global Franchise and Distributorship Expo. Whether you are in textiles, agro-processing, tourism, logistics, ICT, manufacturing, education, mining, FMCG, healthcare, construction, or automotives, AFEX 2026 gives you the opportunity to connect, exhibit, invest, and expand. Ugandan exhibitors and business visitors, this is your opportunity to showcase your products, discover new markets, build international partnerships, and take your business beyond borders. And when you're ready to make the journey, travel with Gotavet Tours and Travel, your trusted travel partner for AFEX 2026. Register today through a call or WhatsApp on 0782 556 078 or 0701 556 078. Visit Gotavet Tours and Travel at Plot 3 Parliament Avenue, Rajat Chambers, Wing A, First Floor, Suite F1, 026. AFEX 2026 Istanbul, where Africa meets the world.
Pearl of Africa, welcome everyone.
Human resource professionals from across Uganda have converged for the 4th annual HR Sports Gala, using sports to promote workplace wellness, professional networking, and sport for autism community.
Sport, wellness and social responsibility took center stage as human resource professionals gathered in Kampala for the 4th annual HR Sports Gala. Organized by the Human Resource Managers Association of Uganda, the event brought together more than 500 HR professionals for a day of sporting activities, networking and wellness under the theme, Enhance Your Wellness for Autism.
This gala is special in a way that this time around we are celebrating it with the children living with autism. So today that is why we are partnering with Donor Center, Home of Autism, to celebrate the children living with autism, to tell the parents who give birth to children with autism that don't ignore these children, don't take them away. There are so many things that they can do in life. So as the human resource people or practitioners, we want to go with everyone. We don't want to leave anyone behind.
An important day for us because human resource practitioners come from all over the country to come and celebrate that sports gala, which is one of the events that gives us an opportunity to say to every organization, to every entity, from State House to Parliament to corporates, that it is important to champion physical activity, games, and being able to maintain good health for your employees.
The gala was not only about competition and recreation, but also provided a platform to raise awareness and support for autism, with the Donor Center for Autism identified as the beneficiary.
Homes that are taking care of these children, these autistic children, are mainly privately owned. So it would be very, very good for the government to come out and maybe put in place centers that can house such children.
My part is to raise awareness, and I thank God that today we have reached this mileage. Just imagine, Donor Center and other organizations, we've been struggling to raise awareness amongst our organizations, but right now, the more we have spoken, today we are here. And I thank the Lord that the Human Resource Managers Association has responded to our appeal. We've been appealing for people to come and join us. We've been appealing for government to come and join us. But today we are so glad that Donor Center has spearheaded this. I've tapped into the people that have been yearning to tap into.
We understand that in our organizations, people sit for long. People sit on those desks. Just to deliver a report, someone could sit for 5 hours. And this is the reason why over 5 or 10 years, people start to develop non-communicable diseases.
The initiative also created space for companies and partners to contribute to a social cause linking workplace wellness with community responsibility. The 4th annual HR Sports Gala therefore combined competition, wellness and humanitarian cause, reinforcing the message that healthier workplaces can also play a role in building more inclusive communities. Sandra Kahonde, Robert Katamba, UBC News.
Thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you in News Tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukumando. On behalf of the whole team, we wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.
UBC